Plus one English online class. Previous day we discussed the topic I will fly that we completed. Its textual questions and textual activities that also we completed. Today we are going to discuss another topic that is titled as Quest for a Theory of Everything by Kitty Gale Ferguson. Okay, this is a profile of Stephen Hawking. Again, we can go through it. Okay, first passage. In the Cockcroft lecture room on April 29, 1980, scientists and university dignitaries gathered in steep tiers of seats facing two-story wall of chalkboard and slide screen. The occasion was the inaugural lecture by a new Lucasian professor of mathematics, the 38-year-old mathematician and physicist Stephen Hawking. This is the first paragraph. Okay, here you can see on 29 April 1980 in the Cockcroft lecture room, many scientists and university wits dignitaries were seated. Okay, the occasion was the inaugural lecture by a new Lucasian professor of mathematics, physics, Hawking, that is Stephen Hawking, who was a mathematician and physicist, and all. At the same time, he was 38-year-old man. That is the first passage. Okay, then second one, see, the title of the lecture was a question: is the end in sight for theoretical physics? Hawking startled his listeners by announcing that he thought it was. He invited them to join him in a sensational escape through time and space to find the holy grail of science, the theory that explains the universe and everything that happens in it. The title of the lecture was Is the End in Sight for Theoretical Physics? His listeners were surprised when Hawking said it was. He invited them to join him in a sensational escape through time and space to find the holy grail of science, the theory that explains the universe and everything that happens in it. The holy grail is the cup used by Jesus Christ at the Last Supper. Okay, that is the first and second passages. The next one, Stephen Hawking sat silently in a wheelchair while one of his students read his lecture to the assembled company. Judged by appearance alone, Hawking didn't seem promising choice to lead any adventure. Stephen Hawking, he just sat silently in a wheelchair as one of his students read his lecture to the audience. Okay, read the lecture to the audience, and what he did, he judging by his appearance. Hawking did not look to the kind of a person to lead any adventure, so he cannot do anything. Such a manner he appeared. Okay, he cannot do any adventure. Okay, such a way he can just identify from that. At the same time, see next one. Stephen William Hawking was born on 8 January 1942 in Oxford, England. He was exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo, the father of modern science. Okay, see, Hawking was born on 8 January 1942 in Oxford, England. He was exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo. Okay, that is, he was the father of modern science. Then see, Frank and Isabel Hawking. Stephen's parents were not wealthy, but they believed in the value of education. So, they planned for Stephen to go to Westminster, a famous public school in the heart of London. See, Frank and Isabel Hawking, they were Stephen Hawking's parents. They were not wealthy. We know that they were not wealthy, but they believed in the value of education. So they believed in the value of education. Okay, and so they want to send Stephen Hawking to Westminster's public school. Okay, Westminster public school, which is in the heart of London. Okay, that is situated in the heart of London. Unfortunately, Stephen was ill at the time of scholarship examination for Westminster. Therefore, he attended the local St. Albans school. So, unfortunately, Stephen was ill at the time of the scholarship examination for Westminster. So, he attended the local St. Albans school. So, anyway, he didn't get any admission in the Westminster. So, actually, he joined St. Albans school. Okay. By the time he was 8, he was thinking seriously about becoming a scientist. Frank Hawking encouraged his son to follow him into medicine, but Stephen found biology too impressive. See what happened. By the time he was 8, he was thinking of becoming a scientist. So he wanted to become a scientist. But his father encouraged him to study medicine. So his father wanted to become his son as a doctor. But Stephen found biology too imprecise, means not exact. Didn't get any exact answer. Okay, he thinks so. He wanted a subject that gave exact answer, and so he could get into the root of these things. So, okay, that is the only reason why he would get into the root of that things. He wanted to a subject that gave exact answer. So he wanted to get an answer, that is get an exact answer. Okay, that is why. Then next one, the exact one, that is why he didn't join that course. Then after that, see, young Stephen was no prodigy. He was just an ordinary English schoolboy, slow in learning to read. His handwriting, the despair of his teachers, he was ranked no more than halfway up in his class. Though he now says in his own defense, it was a very bright class. After that, see, Stephen was not a miracle boy. He was not an intelligent boy. Okay, see, he was just an ordinary English boy. See, he was just only an ordinary English boy. Okay, at the same time he was slow in learning to read, and his handwriting was bad. Handwriting was bad, very bad. He was ranked somewhere in the middle of the class. Okay, and in his defense, Stephen Hawking now says it was a very bright class, meaning he was not among the top students because all students in the class were very bright. He thinks that in his defense, he says himself that is, his classmates in this class, they were very bright. That is the only reason why he was not among the top students. Okay, then next one. At 14, Stephen knew that he would pursue mathematics and physics. His father called this impractical, for there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Moreover, he wanted his son to attend his own college, and Oxford offered no mathematics. He allowed his father's advice and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics in preparation for the entrance into Oxford. He did well in physics, and the interview was brilliantly accepted. So after that, at 14, Stephen decided to study mathematics and physics. His father was not happy because he said there were no jobs in mathematics except teaching. Moreover, he wanted his son to attend Oxford, where he himself had studied. But Oxford offered no mathematics, so Stephen followed his father's advice and studied chemistry, physics, and only a little mathematics in preparation for the entrance to Oxford. He did well in physics and was accepted there. 59, at the age of 17, Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and specialized physics. He joined Oxford College, his father's college, and orders at Oxford, founded in 1249 AD. Okay. Hawking went to Oxford to study natural science and specialized physics. He joined Oxford College, his father's college, and orders at Oxford, founded in 1249 AD. Nevertheless, for about a year and a half, Hawking was lonely and bored. He was not inspired to relieve his boredom by exerting himself academically, but halfway through his second year, he began enjoying Oxford. For about 1 year, Hawking was lonely and bored. He did not feel any inspiration to do well in his academics. But by the middle of second year, he began enjoying Oxford. Okay. Then after that, he became popular and well accepted among his peers. They remember him as lively, buoyant and adaptable. He wore his hair long, famous for his wit, liked classical music and science fiction, and took part in sports. He became popular and was well accepted by his peers. He was lively, buoyant and adaptable. He had long hair. He was famous for his wit. He liked classical music and science fiction. He took part in sports too. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, next one. However, at the end of the third year, Hawking almost floundered. He selected theoretical physics as his specialty. He had then applied to do a PhD at Cambridge and was acceptable on condition that he got a first from Oxford. Hawking was confident that he could get through successfully. But as the examination day approached, his confidence failed. Hawking ended up disastrously on the borderline between a first and a second. Okay, after that, end of third year, however, things were bad for Hawking. He selected theoretical physics as his specialty. He had then applied to do a PhD at Cambridge. He was accepted on condition that he got a first from Oxford. Hawking thought he could get through successfully, but as the examination came, his confidence failed. Hawking got only borderline marks between a first and a second. Okay. Faced with borderline result, the examiners summoned Hawking for an interview and questioned him about his plans. In spite of the tenseness of the situation, Hawking managed to come up with the kind of remark for which he was famous among his friends. Okay, if I get first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford, so I expect that you will give me a first. He got a first and he went to Cambridge. After that, see, as he had only a borderline result, what happened? His examiners called him for an interview and asked him about his plans. What is his plan, the future plan? They asked it to him. He told his examiners boldly, if I get a first, I shall go to Cambridge. If I receive a second, I will remain at Oxford. So I expect that you will give me a first. So he got first and he went to join Cambridge. Okay. Then his first year at Cambridge was worse than that Oxford. His slipshod mathematical background caught up with him and he found general relativity extremely tough. Another far more disastrous problem arose then. During his third year at Oxford, Hawking started getting clumsy. He would fall in once or twice for no apparent reason. The following autumn at Cambridge, he had trouble tying his shoes and sometimes he had difficulty talking. His first year at Cambridge was worse than that at Oxford. Okay, it's very worse than bad one to him, especially at Oxford. His poor mathematical background troubled him. He found general relativity extremely tough. There was even a bigger problem. So he faced a big problem in his life. During third year, he had started getting a bit careless. He had fallen once or twice for no apparent reason. So he had fallen once or two more times he fallen. So there is no reason for falling. Soon he had trouble tying his shoes, and sometimes he had difficulty to talking. At the same time, he had a trouble tying his shoes. At the same time, he had a difficulty in talking. Shortly after his 21st birthday in 1963, Hawking contracted a rare disease, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, for which there was no known cure. It caused a gradual disintegration of the nerve cells in the spinal cord and the brain. At first, he went to a deep depression. He did not know what he ought to do or what his future would be like. Anyway, after that, in 1963, shortly after his 21st birthday, he got a rare disease. So he got a rare disease. That is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. That disease affected him, for which there was no unknown cure. So there is no medicine cure it. It caused a gradual disintegration of the nerve cells in the spinal cord and then brain. So it is affected the cells in the spinal cord and the brain. He went into a deep depression. So after that, he went into a deep depression. He did not know what to do and what maybe his future would be. He don't know what happened. Okay. After that, my dreams at that time were rather confused. He admitted, before my condition was diagnosed, I had been very bored with life. There did not seem to be anything worth doing, but shortly after I came out of hospital, I dreamed that I was going to be executed. I suddenly realized that there were a lot of worthwhile things to do if I were deprived. Okay. So here the thing is that what happened after that, he said that his dreams at that time were very confused. So he wanted to become, okay, he had many wishes. So at that same time, so he had a dream and all. At the same time, he was very confused. Before his condition was diagnosed, he was bored with his life. Before the condition was diagnosed to tested, before that he was very bored with his life. But after he came out of hospital, he dreamed that he was going to be executed. So after that, after overcome the disease and he come out from the hospital, he dreamed, that is, he saw a dream that was going to be executed. So he wanted to execute that. He realized that there were a lot of important things to do if he was given in reprieve time to live. Okay, so he want to overcome the things and he want to live more time. Okay, so this is the passages. The remaining portions of this topic we can discuss in the coming video class. Keep watching. Okay, thank you.